meeting, so that I put it as a name. So always put appointment role and name in the tag. And after that, if you're non-Toastmaster joining as a guest, please rename as like a guest and your name. For example, your name is Sophie. Sophie, a guest dash and then Sophie. And microphone on mute when you're not speaking. When we encourage all of you to turn on your video for better engagement with others who are attending. And if this is your first time attending the club meeting, can you kindly say as in the group chat? I will invite two of the first timer to introduce yourself and tell us what brought you here for this Toastmaster Club meeting. Any volunteers? Can I call yeah, Anu? Yeah, Anu, can you unmute? Anu, can you hear me?
Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening.
Yeah, can you introduce yourself, like your basic introduction?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Anu, working in IT for almost a few years. I joined Toastmaster last month. It's almost like 1.5 months now. And I'm here to improve my interpersonal skills as well as communication skills. Yeah, thank you.
Anu, if you allow me, can I ask you like one more question? Because our theme for this meeting is power of communication. So when was your last time you speak in front of people?
I
Like
gave my icebreaker. It was last month, I think. So, yeah.
okay, it's a good job. That is the most difficult speech in Toastmaster icebreaker.
Yeah.
Can I have one more guess? Neha. Okay, Neha, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, good morning. So here it is good afternoon for me.
Okay.
I'm Neha and I'm based out currently in Middle East. I have a more than a decade experience in IT audits and GRCs. By education, I'm a chartered accountant and by profession, I'm an IT auditor. I'm here to improve my communication skills and icebreaker is one of the things which I need to learn and obviously to improve my leadership skills as well.
Okay, it's glad to know that. So when was the last time you speak in front of people?
As a public speaking, I think it's been more than 6 months. I was a part of a fireside chat on a panel. Uh, yeah, but it was impromptu, so it's been like a 6 months. And apart from this, on a regular basis, of course, we meet people and have small talks. That is a different thing, but we are in front of people. That is 6 months.
Okay, Neha and Anu, for your time. And we encourage all the guests to participate in the table topic session later on. So basically, after the prepared speech, we will have like a table topic. Table topic means impromptu speech. You guys can be volunteer and can participate in the table topics. And without further ado, let me invite our Toastmaster of the evening. Okay. Chander was a member of the club between 2000 of our club 2010 and 2015. During that time, he was the VPE for one term, and he recently joined us again. Chander has 8 years old son, and he loves yoga. His goal of joining Toastmaster is to continue learning and communicate more effectively. Please let us welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Chander Gupta.
Thank you, Sugu, for a generous introduction.
I'm expecting you to do some yoga pose.
I'll start with this.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
That's great. Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, words spoken by a coach to a World Cup team before the final can be the difference between winning or losing the World Cup for a country. Words spoken by a father to a son, by a mother to a daughter, can be the difference between how the child feels about this whole world, how they develop in future. Words spoken by a manager to a worker can be the difference in making or breaking the project, whether the project will be successful or a failure. So words are powerful. Communication is very powerful. And that's why power of communication is the theme for our tonight's meeting. So good evening, club president, members, and guests. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to TMCS, Toastmaster Club of Singapore. This is the biggest Toastmaster club in Singapore. So give me a thumbs up that you're part of this. We have a lot of guests tonight. Let me take a look. I would love to read out your names. So we have, wow, a lot. We have Ching Fei, we have R. Sung, we have Ritika, Rojun, Sean Wong, Shi Hui, Yip Wai Leong, Javier, and Neha. Thank you so much for joining us, for choosing us. And we'll do our best and make sure we are totally worth your time. I would like to show you the agenda for tonight's meeting. It should be a slide here. Yes. And then the next one. Yes, this one. So please go ahead and scan this QR code. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice music. Loved it. So everyone, if you have scanned this QR code, you're looking at the agenda for tonight's meeting. There are three parts to our meeting. The first part is prepared speeches, where all the members or some of our members would have prepared a project or a speech, which they will present tonight. Each speaker will be evaluated by an evaluator. And in between, we will have the table topic session, right? So table topic session is the one which is more like an impromptu speech where anyone can raise their hand and you will be given a chance to speak between 1 to 2 minutes. So this is for anyone. So guests, please look out for our table topic sessions. Now, power of communication depends on three things. I like to call it PEN, P-E-N. P for preparation, prepare what you want to say. E for elimination, eliminate what you don't want to say or what need not be said. 3, N is for narration. Whatever is it that you want to say, narrate it beautifully as well as you can with the right body language and emotions. So tonight, you will see many different examples and trials from our members and guests. So watch out for PEN, preparation, elimination, narration. All right, and since this is an online meeting, I must emphasize again to kindly mute your mic when you're not speaking. So with that, I would like to invite our president, the club president, Toastmaster Vlad Tapia.
Thank you, Chander. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's chapter meeting. My name is Vlad Tapia, and I'm honored to serve as the president of the Toastmasters Club of Singapore. Our theme tonight is the power of communication. Communication is essential to our daily lives. It helps us build relationships, share ideas, and inspire action. Effective communication can transform situations and create connections. Recently, I discovered outrigger canoe, an ancient Polynesian water sport designed to navigate the vast, treacherous waters of the Pacific Ocean. Ganu, can you please play the video? We're just going to play a video to show you what it is. Because once you see it, you'll understand the rest of the story. So you just play the first 11 seconds. As you can see this. Pause it. Thank you. Next slide, please. This is to my face. Yes. Scary, isn't it? Just imagine going on that. And you don't wear a life jacket when you do it. Now, that's exactly why I decided to start doing that on Sundays, to tackle my fear of water. Yes, Toastmasters, I am afraid of swimming in the sea. How many of you here have a fear of water or face similar fears? Please give me a thumbs up so I can see it. Thumbs up. No one's afraid of anything. Okay, that's good. Very, very brave group. Well, as part of my journey to conquer this fear, I had an experience that truly tested my limits. One day, our boat capsized in the middle of the Singapore Channel as we were facing some big waves. I was so scared that I actually froze underwater holding my paddle. Just imagine that. I went under that in that video that you saw, underwater, scared of water, no life jacket, frozen. That was me facing my biggest fear head on. Now, what happened next was remarkable. The team, there's like 6 people on the boat. The team immediately took control of the situation using their safety training, to handle emergency. One member asked everybody if they are okay. Another member checked that, acknowledged what had just happened. We had just gone under the water. And then started giving clear instructions to bring back the capsized boat, and eventually we reboarded it. Hearing this communication from the team snapped me out of the fear. From going underwater and holding my paddle, I woke up, I went to the surface, and I was in a calm state. I was not afraid, even though this is my biggest fear and I'm facing it head on. Now, an emergency situation was kept calm due to effective communication of the team. Everybody was engaged, communication was clear, and we followed the natural sequence of steps to resolve the situation. Now, I want everybody here to imagine a similar situation, but without proper communication. I want you to say what you think would happen. Please go in the chat box, type it out. I'll read it in a bit. I want to see what people guess here. What you believe would happen if you didn't have proper communication in the similar situation. Now, I was on a ferry from Macau to Hong Kong one night. And in the middle of the journey, the power stopped. The lights turned off, and the boat started drifting over large waves for about 1 hour. There were no announcements. All you had darkness and the sound of the waves hitting the boat. and this was creating fear and panic. This was a traumatic experience, especially for someone afraid of water. Without clear communication and coordination, chaos and fear took over. The lack of communication left everybody feeling helpless and terrified. All you heard for that 1 hour was people praying in silence and crying. I just want you to imagine that 1 hour, you're on a big boat, it's dark, and you're just in the middle of the sea swinging back and forth, and all you hear around you is people praying and crying for 1 hour. That would be truly traumatic. So what is the power of communication? Think how powerful it is to be able to transform chaos into calm. Consider this. Whether you're facing a financial crisis at work, you're at home dealing with a family emergency, or you're dealing with a large scale crisis in society, effective communication is a key to navigating these moments successfully. Clear, concise, and empathetic communication can provide direction, reassurance, and unity. And often, we follow people who can bring order to chaos. So this power not only helps lead, but it also makes leaders. Now, at TMCS, we understand the power of communication, and we understand the power of communication can change lives. Our club is dedicated to empowering members with the skills needed to unleash this power. This is why myself and the EXCO focus on this as we put together these chapter meetings that you're experiencing right now. Through meetings, workshops, mentorship programs, we aim to develop confident speakers, effective leaders, and skilled communicators. Tonight, we will go through these principles in action through our prepared speeches, evaluations, and table topic segment, something I highly recommend you do. As we proceed in this meeting, I encourage you all to engage effectively. For our members, this is a chance to refine your communication skills and support each other's growth. For our guests, we invite you to participate actively and experience the benefits of Toastmasters firsthand. If you find value in tonight's meeting, you could consider joining our club to continue development of your communication skills. The power of communication is within your reach. Embrace it, nurture it, and let it transform your life. Join us at TMCS to unlock the potential as a confident, clear, and effective communicator. In closing, remember, communication transforms chaos into calm. Thank you and have a fantastic evening. Back to you, Chander.
Thank you, Lord. I'm afraid of water. I could totally feel that situation. Wow, what a story. Thank you for sharing. And now I would like to show you guys who's working behind the scene. So can we have the slide? Yes, of course. And I love the doodles. I believe a kid is at having fun. That's great. Good to have some fun. So these are the guys working in the background, everyone. We have VPE, Sophie Sun, Velika Theo. They are VP Education. Then we have VP Membership, Wilson Pei, Wilson Chu. If you are getting interested to join the club, you should speak to Wilson and Wilson. Then we have the SAA Sergeant at Arms. You have seen them speaking earlier. Sugu, Ghanu is holding the slides, doing a lot of work. Then it's TME, myself, TTM, Table Topic Master. He will be introducing the table topics later. Then we have the timer, Cynthia Shin, our counter, Lucinda, photographer, Lintron, and the whole VPPR team. So let's have a round of applause for all of them. You can show that by reacting. That would be good, or you could do something like that. Thank you very much. Can we have the next slide, please? Let's go to the next slide. I think that is for the prepared speech. Wait. Done to switch to the next slide.
We cannot hear you, Chander.
Yeah, go ahead. So by the way, for those of you who didn't know, this is the whole new team. So we are doing the online training very first time, online meeting very first time. And we are learning in the process, of course. I love learning. Give me a thumbs up for those who love learning new things and love learning from every situation. Too soft. Oh, I see. That's me. Okay. I'll try to be louder. Thank you for letting me know. And there are some planes flying behind me. You can imagine this is in the spirits of National Day celebration. So I'm sorry if you will not be able to hear me clearly once in a while because of the plane noise. So, Sophie, yeah, perfect. There we are. And it's back to me. Yes, thanks. So I'm going to talk about the prepared speeches now. So this is actually the time, all of us really wait for, especially the project speakers who put in a great effort in preparing their speeches. So like I explained earlier, every prepared speech will be evaluated by an evaluator. And everyone else can also not only evaluate, but you can give your feedback. It'll be really great for the speaker. They would really appreciate it. So whenever we announce a speaker's name, you will see a little QR code at the bottom left corner. And you can scan that code, and that's how you can share your feedback. Now, may I call upon Cynthia Shen to explain the timer's role? Over to you, Cynthia.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cynthia, and I will be your timer tonight. As timer, I will time the prepared speeches, table topics, speakers, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. For those prepared speeches should limit to their respective time allowed. The icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. After that, the speaker will have another 30 seconds to wrap up, after which the speaker will be disqualified. Other prepared speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. At 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. Similarly, the speaker will have another 30 seconds to wrap up, after which the speaker will be disqualified. Back to you, TME.
Thank you, Cynthia. Are we going to change the background of your video for showing the different colors?
Okay, this is red.
Yeah.
This is yellow. Great. And green.
All right. So everyone, that's Cynthia. Let's have a round of applause for Cynthia. She's going to do a very important role reminding all the speakers about how long have they been speaking. So Cynthia will have her hand raised so that she can be sort of pinned at the top left corner of the screen. So she does not mean to ask a question. That is just a technique we are using to pin her. All right, can we have the next? Okay, wait. Wait, let me tell you about the first prepared speech then. So our very first speech tonight will be an icebreaker by Sumona Majumdar. It is from the Pathway Persuasive Influence Level 1.
Chandler,
Sumyali?
ad counter. We have ad counter here.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce Lucinda Chong. Lucinda is doing a very important role today. She will be counting everyone's and all the fillers that we keep using. In the end, we will have a report by Lucinda. Thank you, Lucinda. Can we have the next slide, please? All right. So this is our very first speech for tonight this is an icebreaker speech from the Pathway Persuasive Influence Level 1. And can we call upon the evaluator, Toastmaster Chung Kiat Ling, to read out the project objective, please?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Good luck to our two members doing icebreaker speech.
Thank you very much. And now I would request the timer to demonstrate the timing sequence, please. So it will be green at how many minutes?
Green is at 4 minutes.
Okay.
4 minutes, I would change the background to green, and then 5 minutes to yellow, and 6 minutes to red.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker joined Toastmasters last month. A business manager by profession, she has a passion for all things. AI, and she's thinking of writing an article on the evolution of AI and education. She has been inspired by the speakers in Toastmasters and is eager to share her experience in joining new communities and trying to fit in. So the title of her speech is Fishing to Fit In. So let's put our hands together for Sumona Majumdar. Over to you, Sumona.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice President, my fellow Toastmasters, and my dear friends. Today is my first Toastmasters speech with all of you in Singapore. And I was thinking about my audience, which is yourselves. What is it that probably all of us have in common with each other? Given that Singapore is a very diverse country, we have people coming in from all corners. I'm sure at some point of time, all of you must have faced the struggle of fitting in, be it in your school, be it in your office, be it in any social setting. I'm sure sometime you must have felt that pressure of fitting in. So this is my story about trying to fit into my culture. I am Bengali, so I'm Indian and I'm from Bengal, so I'm called Bengali. My father is Bengali, but my mother was not. And growing up, this wasn't really such a big problem. A lot of my classmates, they never saw me as someone different. But when I would go out and speak to others in the community, I found that they treated me slightly differently. So I would speak to them in Bengali, but they would revert to me in Hindi or English. Sometimes they even told me that I looked different. So with all these differences, it was still not really a big deal. I was always accepted in all the communities that I was in. But when I started going into college, I noticed that in undergrad, a lot of my friends had these groups where they would sit and discuss literature. Now, ours is a literature-loving community. So there were all these talks and these quotes given from these poets and Nobel laureates like Rabindranath Tagore. And then there was this other influential literary figure called Michael Madhusudhan Dutta. And with all of that, I was a bit confused because in school, my Bengali was actually a third language Bengali. So Hindi and English were my forte, and Bengali is something I could speak, but not really read and write so well. But I wanted to still fit in. So I went and started collecting books of the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Then I realized his whole repertoire was so big that there's no way I can complete all of this, and there's no way I can participate. Michael Madhusudhan Dutta, that was a far dream. I had to give that up. But somehow I managed in undergrad. And my postgrad was actually outside of Bengal. So I thought that, this is now going to be a diverse community, a lot of different people. There were also some people, some foreign students. I'm definitely Bengali enough to fit in. So that was fine. In postgrad, you know how we are. We love these rankings. All these rankings are going on. So my best friend, who was also Bengali, by the way, he told me that, you know what? I found out this ranking for the degree of Bengaliness in our class. And you rank second from last. So the last person was this person who had been brought up abroad. He knew nothing of our language, nothing of our traditions. And yet I was considered just better than him. Now, when I thought of traditions, I thought that there is another way I can fit into my community. We have this huge tradition called Durga Puja, which is this huge religious festival, but it is so ingrained in the Bengali culture that it's celebrated by all Bengalis regardless of their religion. So this is a very big deal, and participating here is fantastic. However, there I hit my second snag. When it comes to religious practices, because my parents were from two different communities, the practices were very different. India is so big and diverse, everything's very different. So they didn't really practice anything at home. So I didn't know how to really integrate and practice that at a very deep level. So I hit my second snag, and I thought that, this is time now to move on. Anyway, somehow or the other, post-graduation was fine, everything was fine, but there was this desire in me that I must find this belongingness to my own community. It was a very rich, traditional community. Why should I feel like an outsider? So I thought, what else can I do? Now, when I look at not just my community, but all of India, today, the cultures, the cuisines, all of these are intermingling. So now when we come to, any kind of place, then you have a multitude of choices. So Bengalis also have developed a taste for all kinds of cuisines, everything. Now, there's one thing that Bengalis are known for, and that is their love for eating fish. And my apologies to the vegetarians, we are going to talk about eating fish right now. But now, Bengalis, now with all this intermingling of cultures, people have lost that ability and that love to eat fish. Now, Bengalis eat river fish, which is very tough to eat because it's full of bones. And guess what? I used to hate eating it as well. I once convinced my parents that I was allergic to fish and I would refuse to eat it. But this time I was determined. I said, I am going to try and fit in. So I practiced eating every kind of fish. And guess what? One day I found that I actually love eating fish. And then this friend of mine that did the ranking, he comes to me and he sees my evolved fish palate and he says that, oh, I didn't know that you were a Bengali fish snob. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest acceptance I could get to my culture. And I finally felt like I fit in. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant, superb. Very nice speech, Simone. I lived with a Bengali for 5 years in my college, my roommate. I had really big trouble fitting in with him because he was so talented. All the girls wanted to be friends with him. Nobody looked at me. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Brilliant. Thank you, Cynthia. I think Simona just made it. Can we turn the background back to blue, please? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you loved that speech. If you did, show me some thumbs up. All right. Our next speaker is a new member. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, this is also an icebreaker. Okay, our next speaker is going to do an icebreaker as well from Motivational Strategies Level 1. It's a pathway. Can we call upon the evaluator? Actually, we don't, because it is the same icebreaker. The objective of the speech is exactly the same, so we can skip that part. Then the timing is also going to be the same. So at 4 minutes, the screen will turn green, 5 minutes yellow, 6 minutes red. All right, so our next speaker is a new member, literally just 7 years old, 7 days old. Okay, in his first icebreaker speech, he was to share a little bit about what makes him tick, or to be more accurate, not tick. Let's welcome Paddy to share his story. All right. So the title of the speech is Been There, Bungled That. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Paddy Rangarappa. Over to you, Paddy. Yeah, I think you're still on mute. Paddy, you want to start over? You plan to stand up. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. All yours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chanda. Good evening, Toastmaster President, fellow members, and guests. And I want to thank Anjali for giving up her slot, allowing me to speak so early in my membership. I wanted to start by telling you all something interesting about myself. And that is, oops, I forget. Okay, now I remember. That's the interesting thing. I forget things. Now, how many of the married people on the Zoom call have forgotten their wedding anniversary or their spouse's birthday? If I can have a show of hands. Well, I can't see many, but I'm assuming one or two, at least to feel reassured, because in my case, I have forgotten my wedding anniversary 3 times and my wife's birthday 5 times. Now, I've been married for 40 years. So you may be thinking, that's not bad. But here's the truth. I achieved those scores in the first 14 years of my marriage. By then, my children were old enough for me to delegate the task of remembering their parents' anniversary and their mother's birthday, and without fail, every year, reminding me of them 1 week in advance so that I could buy the card and prepare and so forth. And the children have delivered. But despite this, despite having this robust reminder mechanism in place, once when I was on a business trip, I still forgot my wedding anniversary. Now you may be saying, that's fine, poor chap, he was traveling on a business trip. But here's the thing, my wife had accompanied me on that business trip. And the only reason she had accompanied me was so that we could be together on our wedding anniversary, and yet I forgot. Now, when I say that I forget dates, I undersell myself. I also forget the names of places and people. By and large, forgetting places is okay. No place has come complaining to me. But forgetting the names of people can be tricky, especially because I seem to know people with a memory exactly at the opposite end of the spectrum as mine. For example, a few years ago, I was at Changi Airport, and I see this bespectacled man, slightly portly, coming towards me, grinning widely. "Hello, Paddy," he said, excitedly. "Hello," I said, equally excitedly. I have had some experience dealing with such situations. I began to look for some clues as to who in God's name he was. I looked at his bags to see if he had tagged them with his name. He had not. I was irritated. If airlines would only make it mandatory for passengers to put their names on their luggage, I tell you, life would be much more worth living. Meanwhile, the man was talking. "Where are you off to?" he asked. "KL," I said. "And you?" "Mumbai. I'm going home, of course," he said. "Of course," I said. Then suddenly an idea had occurred to me. "Our office has moved," I said, and I gave him my business card. Saying thank you, he pocketed it. Come on, basic courtesy requires that somebody gives you a business card, you give them yours back. Obviously, this is something they teach you in primary school. Obviously, this man had had a very faulty education. Meanwhile, you're speaking again. So how is Geeta, he said. Oh my God, I don't even know who he is, and he knows my wife's name. She's fine, I said, and I was thinking desperately, but nothing was coming to mind. And what about your son, Vishnu? Oh my God, this makes matters worse. He knows my son's name too. He continued, Vishnu must be in college now, right? And what about your daughter? I'm sorry, I forget her name. I could have pounced on that and asked him how he could be so forgetful. But just then another brilliant idea had come to my mind. Show me your boarding pass, I said. I want to see where you're seated. I'm on a different flight, he protested. My God, this man was being so difficult. But I was firm. I still want to compare seats. It's a childhood hobby, I said. Looking at me strangely, he handed over his his boarding pass. I looked at it. Oh, 27A, is it? I'm in 33D. But the boarding pass had served its purpose. So Ram, tell me something, I said. And once again, I had adroitly got myself out of a tricky. Now, before I end, there is a lesson in all this. Paddy, you should forget less. You're saying? No, it's the opposite. I'm going to tell you all, urge you all to forget more and be like me. Because as the brilliant detective Sherlock Holmes maintained, our brain has a finite capacity. In his words, the fool fills it up with lumber of all sorts, whereas the skilled workman fills his brain only with the tools that he requires for his trade. So I urge you, forget dates, forget places, forget names, and fill your brain with the lessons from the pathways of the Toastmasters Club and become better speakers. Thank you.
Beautiful speech, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. I must confess, I have never forgotten my wife's birthday. But forgetting people, yes, definitely it's happened more than 5 times. I can totally relate to that. All right, guys. If you loved Paddy's speech, let's have a thumbs up, some reactions. Let's see how you liked it. From me, it's a thumbs up for sure. All right, let's move on to our next speaker then. Our next speaker is going to do, so I don't have full speech. It's going to do the, excuse me. Our next speaker is doing the pathway Dynamic Leadership Level 1. And may I call upon the evaluator, Yuan Bin, to read out the objectives, please?
Yep, sure. So the purpose for Regine is to practice applying feedback. In particular, she will be applying the feedback from her first speech to this second speech. All the best to you, Regine.
Thank you. In the interest of time, because we are running a few minutes late, I'm going to explain you about the timer myself. So at 5 minutes, the light will be green, 6 minutes yellow, 7 minutes red. Right. All right. The person, our next speaker, is a full-time accountant in Singapore and an active TikToker. She believes that everyone should be equipped with financial knowledge. And here we have to welcome Regine Lai for her speech titled Depreciation. Welcome, Regine. Round of applause, everyone.
Who's here thinks that Charles and Keith is a luxury brand? I see no nods or hands here. But did you know that in Malaysia, given its price point, it is considered an entry-level luxury brand? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmaster and guests. To introduce myself, I'm a Malaysian and a chartered accountant with 7 years of working experience in public accounting field. Recently, I started a TikTok channel to teach people about corporate and personal finance. Speaking of my earlier question about Charles and Keith at the start, I believe most of us here at TMCS who can pay for the $600 membership fee should be able to afford and buy it without thinking twice. Nevertheless, being in a comfort zone like this, we can sometimes be oblivious to what's happening around us. So, I'll give you an example. Do you know that every day, there is more than 350,000 Malaysians entering and exiting Singapore for work? As the Singapore dollar continues to strengthen against the Malaysian ringgit, this number continues to rise. The thing is that nowadays, there are so many distractions. We might be more drawn to watching silly videos on TikTok than reading finance news. And therefore, I started my channel with the purpose to provide the latest updates on the finance news to the mass public in order to increase their financial awareness. And one of my videos went viral, garnering more than 10,000 views as of today. The title of the video is Depreciation of the Malaysian Currency. And the good news is, you are very lucky as I'm going to cover that in my speech today. But before I jump into the explanation of what depreciation is, we first need to know about the basic of economics mechanism. The price of goods are driven by market forces. Supply and demand drive the price of everything, including currency. If the demand for a currency goes up, keeping the supply constant, the currency will appreciate, and vice versa. In the case of Malaysia, it is the same. Investors refuse to hold Malaysian currency. And here's why. The US Federal Reserve has raised its interest rate to 5.5% as of today to tackle the post-COVID inflation. Countries like Singapore has also raised their interest rate as countermeasure. However, in Malaysia, the overnight policy rate is still stuck at 3%. So now, let me ask you, would you want to put your money in a Malaysian bank to earn 3%? Or in a Singapore or US savings account to earn probably 4 to 5%? I'm sure not the Malaysian one, right? As fewer people demand and hold Malaysian currency, its value goes down. And here's the million-dollar question. Why couldn't Malaysian government do something, such as raising the interest rate, like what Singapore did? The answer is simple. It's no. That's because of the economic fundamentals. Malaysia's economy heavily relies on the production and export of low to mid value-added goods. If exports become too expensive, no one is going to buy it. I'll give you another example. Few days ago, I walked past Bugis Junction. I saw that the durian there was sold at $30 per pack, and the queue was crazy. And now, if I ask you to pay $50 for a pack of Mao Shan Wang from Johor, will you still want to buy it? How about $100? How about $150? Probably not. So, doesn't matter if you are a durian lover or not. As the price hitting a certain level, you may not want to buy it anymore. And the same goes to the export, as there are always cheaper suppliers out there. In short, strong currencies can negatively affect the country's export competitiveness and its economic growth. Currency devaluation and economic instability have been the recurring themes across the world. It highlights the intricate balance required in economic policies and governance. Despite ringgit's depreciation, my love for my country remains strong. But love alone isn't enough. We must take action. We all must understand that economic policies and global financial dynamics can have a direct impact on our life. regardless of where we live. We must educate ourselves about this topic, engage in discussion, and advocate for responsible governance. And together, we can ensure a stable and prosperous future for everyone. So, if you want to know more about financial news like this, you can subscribe to my TikTok channel, SG Accountant, and join my community to stay up to date with all the latest finance news. Thank you and see you.
Wow, Regine. Round of applause, everyone, for Regine. You sure can explain such complex topics so easily. You should be on TV. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speech will be the project Writing a Speech with Purpose from Pathway Presentation Mastery Level 1. And the timing will be same, 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, the light will be green, 6 minutes amber, 7 minutes red. May I please call upon the evaluator, Kelvin Sim, to read out the objectives, please.
All right, many thanks, Kanda. The purpose of this project is for Carrie to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Time 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kelvin. Carrie Ho is a nerdy mom of two who spent her teenage years listening to 90s slow rock. She is usually more a fan of roses than of guns. The title of the speech is On Guns and Roses. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Carrie Ho. Over to you, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, guests. To all 90s slow rock fans who think this is about Axl Rose's band and their famous hit, Sweet Child of Mine, my deepest apologies. My talk, unfortunately, is not about music at all. Instead, tonight, the purpose of my speech is to illustrate the purpose of speeches. And I hope to do so with a very iconic speech on guns and how it shows that when crafted well, a speech can make anything smell as sweet as roses. How many of you know who Charlton Heston is? Can you put up your hands electronically? I guess no one's as old as me. Anyway, he was a huge Hollywood star in the 50s through the 70s, and he was known for blockbusters such as Ben-Hur, 10 Commandments, Soylent Green. Oh, I see some hands up. Yeah, some in my camp. Yeah, so does anyone know these films? Yeah, the same hands. Yeah. And so he was a huge Hollywood star, and later on in life, Heston became a pro-gun activist. And he was the president of the US National Rifle Association, the NRA, from 1998 to 2003. Who has heard of the NRA? Some, yes. So it is one of the most powerful political lobby groups in US politics. It has a very strong base among people who vote for the Republican Party and who are politically conservative. It has always been very politically savvy, but before Charlton Heston, it was just a sporting club for hunting enthusiasts. It had a very fuddy-duddy image, for rural hunters kind of thing. But Charlton Heston turned it around and gave it a different identity, a very mass kind of appeal after he made this speech to the US National Press Club in 1997, defending US citizens' rights to own guns at a time when the media and a lot of people were questioning that right. He articulated for the first time the arguments that would transform NRA's image to the defender of the US Constitution. Sorry for background. Let me explain some of the terms here. The right to bear arms or to own arms is one of the fundamental rights of the US citizens under their constitution. The constitution is a document that lists the highest laws in the country. It was drafted over 200 years ago, shortly after the Americans fought off the British with the guns, which is why a lot of people are still attached to guns. In recent decades, a lot of Americans are questioning this right after a string of political violence and civilian shootings. This is one of the debates that always comes up in US politics, if you follow US politics, with no resolution because people are very divided over the issue. Well, we've just seen an assassination attempt on presidential candidate Donald Trump, so that debate, needless to say, has been revived. If I were to sum up what Charlton Heston said in his speech, it is this. He was addressing journalists in the press club, and he said journalists were wrong to attack US citizens' rights to bear arms in their commentaries. He said the right to bear arms was written down as the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, but by importance, it is the first among all the amendments in the Constitution. Why did he say this? His reason is because without this right to bear arms, Americans would lose the right to resist any government's tyranny. And if under tyranny, Americans will lose all other rights. Heston also said that gun violence has nothing to do with gun ownership, but more to do with declining morals, disintegrating families, vacillating political leadership, eroding criminal justice system, social morals that blur right and wrong. So anything but the ownership of guns. Actually, for the longest time, I must admit that I thought anyone pro-gun was just completely nuts. I mean, it's not my place to debate this since I'm not a US citizen, but I wouldn't want that in Singapore. However, when I heard Heston's speech, I must say I was blown away precisely because I did not and still do not agree with what he was advocating, but I thought it was a very, very effective speech, and I saw the allure in its arguments. Why do I think so? First, his pro-gun logic of how the Second Amendment is the preconditions for all the other rights in the Constitution was for the first time clear to me in the speech. I've heard a lot of people argue for guns, but none have used this very good deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is when you start from a principle and then you derive conclusions that you want to convince people of with. So this artful use of logic by Heston in speechcraft is called logos of a speech. Second was Heston's brilliant deployment of another element of speech, ethos. He did this by evoking like-mindedness with his audience. He used words that helped the audience identify with the NRA. For example, in his speech, he said this of his arguments. These words may not play well at the press club, but it is still gospel down at the corner bar and grill. Notice he used the word gospel, which shows that the NRA stands with the large Christian majority in the US. And corner bar and grills are places you find in the heart of America. So it shows that it stands with the common small town people, not the elite, the nose in the air elite. And he suddenly sets the press club apart from these people. So they are the ones with the traditional values, and the people attacking them, the media, are opposed to these traditional values. All of a sudden, guns, the right to own guns, becomes synonymous with traditional values in the US. At one point, Heston also said to the press club, now I doubt any of you would prefer a rolled up newspaper as a weapon against a dictator or a criminal intruder. Rolled up newspaper. This pokes fun at a room full of journalists and make them look utterly ridiculous, isn't it? So these artful use of words were very good. And also pathos, his pathos is also very good. This is another element of speech in speechcraft, which is the stirring of passions in a speech.
Time's up.
And to sum up, I would say that to me, Heston's speech is a reminder that a single good speech can tap into the groundswell of general discontent in society, activated for a wider cause and give people a sense of instant fellowship. In other words, a good speech can launch a political movement. May we all learn to harness this powerful skill of public speaking, and may we all learn to use it for good. And for people who are interested in learning rhetorical devices, please talk to Ernest Chen, one of our TMCS mentors who wrote a book on that very subject. And he also runs a free course on Fridays for anyone who wants to learn public speaking. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm taking too much time.
Carrie, brilliant. You used the words Guns and Roses very intelligently to draw attention and give us a very, very informative speech. I learned a lot. Thank you for delivering that. Let's have a round of applause, everyone. Here's a thumbs up from me. Thank you, Carrie. Let's move on to our next speech now. Our next speech is the project Understanding Your Communication Style from the pathway Presentation Mastery Level 2. May I request the evaluator, Toastmaster Kathleen Sui, to read out the objective, please. This is Mike. I'm sorry I read out.
It's me.
My apologies. So our next speech is about understanding your communication style from Presentation Mastery Level 2. Oh, it is the same. Kathleen, are you around to read out the objectives?
Kathleen could not make it to the meeting today, so she's asked me to take over as the evaluator.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So the purpose of this project for the member is to learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style, and also to share the impact of his or her own style on others. All the best, Michael.
Thank you, Ms. Master. Our next speaker is an IT engineer by profession, lover of books and self-improvement, a self-confessed introvert. Let's welcome Michael to share with you his journey as an introvert communicator with the speech title, The Superpowers of an Introvert Communicator. Michael Lee, everyone. Put your hands together. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Chandra. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, picture this, a packed room, all eyes on you, the spotlight shining brightly, a microphone in hand. Well, not unlike the situation we are having now. For many, this is the start of dreams. For introvert, it can sometimes feel like the opening scenes of a horror movie. Well, I would say I'm scared also, but fear not. Because today, being an introvert myself, I'm going to share with you the superpowers of an introvert. The 5 powers that make an introvert some of the most effective communicators in the world. First up, the power of listening. Well, you may see that extrovert will dominate the conversation. However, introvert possess a unique ability to listen deeply and attentively. Imagine having a friend that hangs on every word you say, who nods thoughtfully and attentively. Imagine who nods thoughtfully and who respond with insights that make you think that they have been reading your mind. That's an introvert for you. And their superpowers, they make people feel truly heard and valued. So the next time when you're crafting the speech, channel your inner introvert. Listen to your audience, understand what's their need, and respond in a way that make them feel like you're speaking directly to them. My second point, the art of thoughtful communication. Introverts are like the ninjas of the communication world. They strike with precision and purpose. Well, I mean, we don't waste words. We choose them carefully. That's our secret weapon. When an introvert speaks, people listen because they know that it's going to be something meaningful. As a professional speaker, embracing these superpowers means focusing on quality, not quantity. Craft your speech to be clear, precise, concise, and impactful. Remember, sometimes less is more. Thirdly, introverts have the gift of reflection. They are the master strategists. They like to think deeply or ponder carefully before they respond. This ability to reflect allows them to connect dots that others may miss. When preparing speech, take a page out of the introvert playbook. Spend some time reflecting on speech, anticipating potential questions. Think about the best way to engage your audience. This reflective approach not only makes your speech more insightful, but it helps you to handle those tricky Q&A sessions with ease. Now, let's talk about the charm of authenticity. Well, introverts don't put on a show. The one thing is that they are genuine and authentic. And I would say that people are drawn to that. In a world full of a polished performance and rehearsed routine, authenticity should stand out. As speaker, we can learn a lot from introvert. Be yourself on stage and connect with the audience on a human level. Authenticity is magnetic and is a superpower that introvert with grace. Lastly, the strength of preparation. Introverts are the kings and queens of preparation. Normally, we plan, we rehearse, and we try to perfect our craft. This meticulous preparation is their superpower, and it can be ours as well. As speakers, the more we prepare, the more confident we are, and the more polished we become. So channel your inner introvert. Rehearse your speech until you know it back and forth. Anticipate every possible scenario and walk onto the stage ready to conquer. Before we move on, let's take a moment to appreciate the introvert's natural habitat. The cozy place with a good book. The cozy place with a good book and cup of tea. And absolutely no small talk. That is how an introvert wants to be. If you ever want to lure an introvert out, promise them a deep and meaningful conversation, or better yet, a silent retreat. In conclusion, my fellow Toastmasters, introvert might not craft the spotlight, but they shine brightly when they step into it. The superpowers of listening, thoughtful communication, reflection, and authenticity and preparation make them effective communicator. So whether you're introvert or extrovert, embrace this superpower and let them elevate your speaking game. Finally, I would like to take a moment to appreciate my newfound friend that helped me craft this speech. And what is his name? ChatGPT. Thank you, ChatGPT. And thank you, everyone. Please remember, the next time that you see an introvert in the audience, maybe it's me, know that you're looking at someone that is a silent superhero. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm an introvert myself. I totally relate with that. Thank you for delivering this wonderful speech, Michael. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next speech now. Our next speech is Project Inspire Your Audience from Pathway Presentation Mastery Level 3. Timing will be same, 5 minutes to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, the light will turn green, 6 minutes amber, 7 minutes red. So may I request, call upon Toastmaster Lawrence Lee to read out the objective, please.
The purpose of this speech is for the member to write and deliver a speech that inspires others. And this speech is to inspire the audience.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lawrence. Our next speaker is a teacher who's about to grade us all on our listening skills. But don't worry, Raj Kiran promises not to deduct points for doodling or daydreaming, unless you're dreaming of becoming a better public speaker. Speech title is Unlock Your Inner Strength. Everyone, please welcome Toastmaster Raj Kiran Sharma. Over to you, Raj.
Am I audible?
Perfectly.
Yes.
All yours.
Ah, the joy of childhood. Do you remember those carefree days when the only worry was what to play next? And the deadline was setting of sun. Yes, allow me to take you to the most beautiful part of journey called childhood. Good evening, Mr. President, esteemed guests, and fellow Toastmasters. I stand before you not just as a speaker, but a source of determination and consistency, courage and strength within each one of us. Here, I will give you a glimpse of my childhood, and those innocent days shaped this girl who is speaking in front of you. The memory is still fresh. How the seed of public speaking plants in my mind. I was in my primary classes. It was a usual afternoon. We were sitting in our classroom. I still remember our maths teacher gave us some sums to do. We were chatting and finding out ways to just go out of the class. My newly appointed principal enters the class to introduce herself to us. Suddenly, a glory starts speaking in front of me. My tiny eyes twinkling, and I was mesmerized with her voice. For me, she was a fairy sent for a purpose. I want to be like her. Her voice, the way she spoke, the way she stood in front of me, her confidence, I want to be like her. A young girl who lives in a small town, goes to neighborhood school, dreams of becoming a proficient public speaker. But how? My English isn't good. I can barely talk to people with this stammering voice, no confidence. My mind says, you and public speaking don't go together. But my heart says, let us try. I was left with two choices, fear and desire. My desire was bigger than my fear. I chose desire. I started observing people, how they talk, where do they take pauses, which word to emphasize on. This gave me brief understanding of language, especially English language. I started working on my basic language skills like reading, writing, and speaking. A sudden change I observed. My classmates started taking interest in me. They wanted to talk to me. I was becoming famous. But the sinking feeling was still prevailing. Chatting with friend is one thing, and public speaking on stage is altogether different thing. What if I forget my lines? My voice might break. What about those staring eyes, whispering ears? People will judge. Yes, in facing this challenge, I discovered a strength within me, which I never knew existed inside me. Every day, after coming back from school, it has become my routine, part of my daily routine, to practice reading 4 to 5 pages every day. I used to write something and practice in front of mirror. I used to rehearse my lines. I used to speak. I used to write. I used to listen. I was craving for opportunities to speak. Seeing me practicing and rehearsing my lines gave me a good reason to my mother to be happy. A brisk smile on her face worked like tonic to me. Friends, hard work never goes in vain. I represented my school and college in many of the occasions. Later, they chose me as head girl of the school. This is the power of believing in oneself. Joining Toastmasters Club is also one of the best decisions I have ever made. Coming to a new country, establishing yourself, facing the world requires a lot of strength. And yes, there were moments of self-doubt, sweaty palms, running heartbeat, audience eyes. But my inner strength pushed me to move forward. And I know I have many more mountains to climb. So fellow warriors, on the journey of public speaking, let us confront our fear. Come up, share your story. If I can do it, anyone, you all can also do it. And most importantly, unlock your inner strength. May your journey inspire others to do the same. Thank you very much.
Wow, very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. You took me to my childhood, Rajkiran. And I want my son to have a teacher like you. Which school are you teaching? I'll connect with you later. Round of applause, everyone, for Rajkiran. Let's move on to our next speech. Our next speech is Project Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. It is from Pathway Visionary Communication Level 1. Timing is same, 5 to 7 minutes. May I request Toastmaster Mike Woon to read out the objectives, please?
Sure. Am I audible?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, the purpose of this project is for Jolene to practice using vocal varieties or body language to enhance a speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mike Woon. A dynamic lady, Jovin, is a healthcare marketer, executive coach, and a self-leadership speaker. She believes our destiny lies in our own hands. So let's hear how she transformed from a victim to victor and how you can do it too. Speech title is From Victim to Victory. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jovin Go. Jovin, all yours.
Thank you, Chander. The timer will just come on later. Okay. Okay, now I see it. Thank you. Would you believe me if I told you I used to be really poor in my English and I dreaded English classes when I was a child? Good evening, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I was born into a Mandarin-speaking family, which was not the norm in the English-speaking school that I attended. I always felt inferior to my classmates as they would converse happily with each other in English, while I spoke broken English. The worst was when it came to English essay writing classes. I would spend the entire hour of English class just writing one sentence. One Sunday morning, my family went to the park. And then I'll keep on looking at the clock in the classroom and pray that the minutes would just fly past so quickly, such that the school bell would ring, and then I can pack my bag and take the work back home so that I can ask my dad to complete the essay for me at home. At that time, there wasn't Google nor ChatGPT yet. So I didn't have any of these AI assistants. So while I aced my Chinese in school, I was always at the borderline pass grade for my English. And because of my poor English, I wasn't a confident child at all. And I kept very much to myself. So one day, my form teacher, Miss Cruz, came up to me. Girl, why aren't you playing with your other friends? I don't think they like me, teacher, because they don't understand me. I went into a self-pity mood. Girl, you're only 9 years old. You still have a long way to go. As long as you take charge of your own life, work hard in anything that you set out to do, I'm sure you'll be able to excel one day. And that one sentence became my turning point. Knowing that English was my weakness, yet it was such an important subject in school and in the society, I forced myself to continue working on it by reading many English storybooks, choosing to advance to English-speaking schools, and even taking the chance to work in London, so I would immerse myself day in and day out, speaking and writing proper English. These years of exposure allowed me to become a true native English speaker. Wow, the flip side was, I've now forgotten half of my Chinese, my maiden language. But that wasn't the end. I've been working in European multinational companies for the past 15 years. Where I work with many non-locals as my bosses. And for those of you in corporates, you would know that in order to survive and thrive in corporate, how we communicate with different stakeholders within the organization and the perceptions we give to them, it's what matters. It's not just about having good vocabulary and speaking fluently. It's also about how to deliver a presentation confidently, giving a clear message in the right tone, using the right words, so it's received smoothly. A few years ago, I was retrenched from my job. I was upset with the decision. But looking back, I learned that what costed me wasn't my capability, but it was my communication ability. Before every presentation to the big boss, I would spend hours perfecting my slides, while I take only 30-odd minutes or less on how to talk through them. So at a meeting, I would get really nervous and I would just read out the words on the slides and become very incoherent. One of the worst presenters around, I'm sure. Even in smaller meetings, I would focus on what I want to put across rather than try to step into my boss's shoes and understand what their interest would be. So what did I do after being aware of this? Well, in my sabbatical, I joined Toastmasters. And I also took up neuro-linguistic programming communications to improve what I was weak in. The learnings were transformational to how I communicate now. At work, I now write down my pitch before every major presentation, so I know exactly what points to say when I am presenting my slides. And I can make my presentation succinct and clear. And this boosts my confidence when I present. Other times, I listen and I observe more to understand others' positions so I can find common touch points that matter to them. I am now also even a semi-professional speaker. By being aware of my weakness in English and in communications, it propelled me to constantly improve and transform into a strength. But that was only possible when at 9 years old, I reframed myself from being a victim to someone who takes ownership to become a victor of my own life. So my dear friends, I would love to leave a parting message with you. What are you a victim of, or who are you a victim of today? And how can you transform yourself from a victim into a victor and take charge of your own destiny? Back to you, Toastmaster, for the evening.
Great speech, Chauvin. Round of applause from me. Round of applause, everyone. I was really bad at English when I was growing up. So we used to go to this English school. It was a very special kind of school where we were made to watch the famous Hollywood movies, and we were expected to write down the dialogues. So that really helped me. And yeah, everyone had a story. Let's move on to our last prepared speech tonight. The last speech for tonight is from the project Connect with Storytelling. And it is from the pathway Engaging Humor Level 3. May I request the project evaluator, Daryl Tan, to please read out the objective?
Certainly, Toastmaster of the evening. The purpose of this project is for the member, Anita, to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Look forward to this. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Daryl. The timing will be 5 to 7 minutes. 5 minutes green, amber light at 6 minutes, 7 minutes. There will be red light. Our next speaker has been with the club for over 5 years, but still struggles with adding humor into her storytelling. Let's see what story she's sharing with us today. Title of the speech is I'm a Billionaire. Let's all welcome Anita Nair. Over to you, Anita.
I'm just trying to pin Cynthia. I can't see her here. So, yeah, I can see her now. Don't you all wish you were billionaires? Well, the chase for money is real. And you know what? No one is spared, even the little ones. They wish their parents were billionaires. Good evening, President, Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear friends. This was a very interesting discussion that I was having with my daughter around end of last year. I vividly remember the background. We were all sitting in the balcony, enjoying our snacks. And in she comes, my 12-year-old, saying, Ma, Pa, I think you need to increase my pocket money. Okay. You're just giving me $15. You need to up it to $30 at least. We said, oh, okay. And what is the rationale? Now, for those of you who are parents, know how these discussions with kids are no less than boardroom discussions. They are quite stressful. Anyways, so just to give you a background, my 12-year-old studies in an international school. And for those who have kids studying in international schools, you know how it is. Money is on your face everywhere. There is an abundance of it. So we have to stay calm, like the CEOs of our organization, listening to what she has to say. And then she says, so she goes, bong, bong, bong. So first point was, there is so much of inflation happening. You guys can't just keep giving me $15. Okay, fine, we can think about it, but why should you have more money? And our first card was, you should stay healthy and eat healthy. The healthy food that we're cooking at home. So she says, well, most of the days, most of my meals are at home anyways. Bang goes our point. We lost that one. Then we tried to come out with our second card. Look, you're getting $15. Think about those people who don't even have $1. Boom, came another reply. You know what? My friends get $75 to $100 a day. A day? Are you sure? No, or maybe a week. We lost that one as well. And the third point my husband was trying to say is, you know, Mama lost her job 10 months back. We need to try and save money. And that one was like, you could see her expressions change. She looked into Mama's eyes, which is me. Mama, are we broke? I could imagine the feeling that she was going through. This was, guys, a discussion for $15 more in her pocket money. So I looked at her calmly, took a pause, and told her, sweetie, do you know, Mama is a billionaire. And guess what? You have more than that. At that second, I could see all the emotions passing around her head in the splash of that second. She was like, are my parents crazy? They are billionaires and they're thinking about not giving me $15 for pocket money? I paused again and calmly told her. Now, before telling her, I knew what I was going to tell her was not anyways linked to her, $15 argument, but I still had to make my point. I looked into her eyes and said, sweetie, do you know that if you live 31 years of your life, you will have 1 billion seconds with you? She had lost it by then. She said, Mama, what are we discussing here? I'm talking about a $15 increase in my pocket money. I said, calm. You listen to what I have to say. And I had to tell her how time is the most valuable asset that she had. I told her how important and how just God is, because no matter how rich or poor you are, each one of us gets the same time every day we live. And now it's up to us to see how wisely we choose to spend our time. Spend it on chasing money and the tangibles, buying things, possessions, materialistic things, or looking at the intangibles, creating lovely memories, experiences, strong relationships. I told her, do you know, when Mama lost her job, it wasn't easy. Imagine seeing only reds in your account statement, all debits happening and not a single credit. I felt so poor. But you know what, sweetie? I gained one thing in the process. A lot of time. A time to think, pause, and see what I wanted to do of that time. So I chose wisely to spend it on myself, to educate and nurture myself, to spend time with my family and close friends, and lastly, to give back and volunteer. So friends, today I'm here to share that time is indeed the most valuable asset that no money can buy. You all in this room are billionaires. It is for you to decide and choose wisely before you run out of time. Over to you.
Great, great. Amazing speech, Anita. These conversations are tough. I've had a few. Round of applause, everyone, for all our speakers. And my apologies, we are running about 13 minutes late as of now. We'll try to make up for the time. Can we have the report by the timer, please? Cynthia, over to you.
Okay. So all speakers, with the exception of Carrie, are qualified. The exact timing for each speaker will be sent to the chat because we're running out of time.
All right, thank you. Can we have the voting slide? All right, everyone, you can please scan the QR code to vote for the speaker whom you really connected with the most, or you can go to www.menti.com and key in the code to vote for the best speaker for you. All right, everyone, we're going to take a quick break. It's 8:39. We will be back at 8:49. See you all. Take a quick break. And after that, we will have the table topic session.
Chanda, we adjusted the timing to 5 minutes break, so
All
it
right.
will be 44. Thanks.
Okay, we will be back at 8:44. Thank you very much. See you, everyone. All right, welcome everyone. Now we have arrived at the session where everybody can participate, and this is called Table Topics. This is also known as impromptu speaking session, where all are welcome. Now, may we call upon the Toastmaster, Wilson Pei, to conduct this session for us. Over to you, Wilson.
Thank you, TME Chanda. Hi, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Wilson Pei, your table topics master of this evening. Our theme for today's chapter meeting is the power of communication. Just a quick introduction of myself. Professionally, I'm in the sales in the confectionery industry. In Toastmasters, I'm a VPM, so my role is to promote memberships to our guests. So my job is always to communicate, and in particular, my job is to sell. I think you can guess what is the theme of today's table topics. It is for you to experience the power of communication, and in particular, the power of selling. I highly encourage everybody to participate, especially our guests for today. Please type me, ME, in the chat if you'd like to participate. And how this works is, I will spin a virtual wheel. As you can see from the screen right here, I will spin a virtual wheel and it will decide which item you will sell to the audience members. The things that you can sell today are pretty unique, and I believe you have lots of fun for today. With that, I'll maybe invite our timer to read out a timer sequence for our fellow members and guests.
Hello. For table topic, speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Back to you, TME.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. So the very first participant that I can see from here will be E.T. Can we pin E.T.? Hi, E.T. Hi. Thanks for participating.
Hi, Wilson.
All right. So I will start to spin the wheel and it will reveal the first word that you have to sell to the audience members.
Oh,
Good luck to you. The very first word is
What?
rusty nail. Rusty nail.
Am I audible and visible before I start?
Yes, E.T.
Okay, thank you. My father was a sailor, and he spent his days, weeks, months, years in the sea. And I haven't seen him like around 3 years. And I asked him, Dad, when will you come? I'm missing you. Mother is ready to cook your favorite food at home. So please let me know when you will come back. No reply. He only said that, my dear son, I would love to come back to our home, but I have a duty that I have to finish. This is not only a destination, it is a journey of a discovery. And he said, I have some memento of this journey that I would like to give to you. So please wait for me for another 22 months. Time passed. I have been waiting for him, and he gave me rusty nail. And I asked him, what is the meaning of this? I have been waiting 22 months for rusty nail. Father, are you kidding me? He said, every journey, there will be always sacrifice. And during this journey, my ship get wrecked out. And I only able to save this rusty nail as a memento, as a gift for you to continue my journey as a sailor. And yes, after that, I always bring this memento, rusty nail. So who want to bid for this rusty nail? This is full of memories of me. Please give me any bidding. I will try my best to give it to you. Back to you, ETL.
Thank you, E.T. You are so convincing. I will not wait just 22 months. I'll wait 22 years for you to buy the rusty nail for you. So convincing. Good job. So the next participant we have will be Bindu. Bindu, are you here, Bindu?
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Can we help to pin Bindu? Okay, I will start to spin the wheel and good luck to you.
Okay.
The word that you have is a cracked mirror. Please sell a cracked mirror to the audience members. The time is yours.
Now, all of you might have had childhood memories of a grandmother's tale. When they say that you crack a mirror and you'll have 7 years of bad luck. Do you all remember that? Well, I do remember that. But do you know what the latest thing is? Well, the latest thing is to disprove previous grandmother's tales, or especially this particular one. We have new information to suggest that it doesn't bring bad luck. It actually brings good luck. So get ready to crack mirrors. And to do so, I have just the thing for you. It's a specialized pen or that can act as a hammer as well. It has integrate rays built into it that can crack any possible mirror, including the mirror of your cell phone. So be a little careful with that. But remember, it's not 7 years of good luck that a cracked mirror using this particular pen can bring you. It is 10 to 20 years, depending upon how many cracks you create. And for that, we have different price ranges of this pen. If you go for the 10K pen, it can crack about 10 mirrors. But if you go for a 20K pen, it will crack 20 mirrors. So can you imagine that quantity of luck that you have with just the power of 20K? If you're interested, you can always just DM me on my number. Here it is, 984528051. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Bindu. Thank you, Bindu. I've written down the number. I'll be calling the number to buy a cracked mirror. Thank you so much. All right, the next participant we have is Javier. Hi, Javier. Thanks for having the courage to participate in this weird
Hello.
table topic. Thank you, Javier. Okay, I'll be spinning right now. All the best to you. Old toothbrush. Old toothbrush. Please sell old toothbrush to the audience members. The time is yours.
So some of us may wonder what an old toothbrush can be used for. When it is used by many, it doesn't seem to have much of a purpose anymore. By having an old toothbrush, someone does not have much need of it anymore, with its bristles loose and the pricks coming out. But there is still many functions of the toothbrush which one can use. For example, it can be used to wash the toilet and scrub the toilet bowl, for example. It can also be used in many ways, such as cleaning the floor or even helping to clean a dog. With that, having an old toothbrush may not seem to be a very beneficial item, but it will definitely help you out in the long run by with such little chores, but it will eventually lead to big means of helping you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you, Javier. I have many old toothbrush. I'll be passing to you for you to clean your dogs. Thank you so much, Javier. So the next speaker that we have is Bala. Hi, Bala.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for your time. I'll be spinning the wheel, and the
hope
lucky
I'm
word that you
audible.
have, Bala, is moldy bread. Moldy bread. Please sell moldy bread to the audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you always guest at home whom you don't really appreciate to come? I'm here to sell you a product which will ensure that they will not keep coming again and again. It is the moldy bread. Just whenever they come, put the moldy bread with those dark marks on top, and they will stop coming or bugging you after that. Because why do these people come? Why do those guests come again and again to pester you? They come to only have the wonderful food, some good drinks. That's what they come for. But my moldy bread will help you to get rid of those people. In life, you may not be able to say no to people on their face, but my moldy bread will help you to ensure that these people will not come back again, even if you do not say a no. It is, though, important that you need to have it in a sealed container, which I will give you along with the product. Because too much mold is not good. That will not help you. It should look a bit moldy only. I will give you the perfect texture, and it's very cheap, I tell you. It's only $2. Just reach out to me and I will give you the moldy bread. Is there a moldy bread that you're looking for? It may be in your life, in your relationship, in your professional things. Just reach out to me and I will send it right at your doorsteps. When will you order? Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Bala. I have $2. I'll be passing to you right now. So convincing. Thank you so much, Bala. The next speaker we have will be Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hello there.
Hi. Okay, the word that you have for today will be single shoe. So a shoe that's only one side, a single shoe.
All
The
right.
stage is yours.
Well then, have you know about how to do fashion? Have you ever wondered how can I do fashion with shoes? You have the brown shoes, you have black leather shoes, you have the sandals. So like clothes, we have shirt and we have pants. Then how can we pair that up with different colors for contrast and for variety to portray our personalities? So how can we do it with shoes? May I present to you single shoes? When you have sandals and you have sport shoes together, sandals present you to be more casual, while sports shoe makes you more sporty. If you combine them both, you get a weird combination of casual and sporty. Well, then what if you want to go to a formal event, but you don't want to feel too formal or to scare off people? Why don't you put on a sandal with socks, and at the other legs you have leather shoes on? Then you might even give off a funny expression, which make people want to get close to you and talk to you more. Maybe this will be a chance to approach more people and attract potential customer in the future. So if I go to a friend event and want to try something funny, well, you can try a clown shoe and maybe with a leather shoe that will portray as a funny or maybe slightly formal, so that your friend will maybe laugh a little or maybe won't. So single shoes are some way we can use to portray our expression very uniquely, and you can contact me by WhatsApp or by Facebook to obtain this kind of single shoe. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. You should pitch this to the fashion designers and the shoe companies. I think they will definitely buy your idea. Thank you so much. The next speaker that we have will be Sahil, our exco. Hi, Sahil.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. All the best to you. And the word that we have for you tonight will be ta-da, a half-eaten apple. A half-eaten apple. Please sell this to the audience. The stage is yours.
Guys, do you have people who you don't like to be in your life? I don't mean like guests, but you have like grandparents or parents who you don't like to see. I'll tell you the reason they come. They come to get a slice of nutrition from you because they feel your house serves a lot of nutrition. As a Gen Z, you would want to eat oranges, apples, stuff like that. But I present to you the half-eaten apple. And I don't mean half-eaten by humans. I mean half-eaten by rats. When your family members come, who you don't like to come, serve them the half-eaten apple, personally manufactured by Sahil Sharma. The half-eaten apple will be sure to make them understand that they are not welcome in your home, because they will understand that they will understand that they cannot keep on bothering you in your home. The half-eaten apple is very cheap, $1 per apple. The half-eaten apple is specifically lab-grown by me, Sahil Sharma, and will be sure to get you rid of anyone you don't want in your life. Over to you.
Thank you, Sahil. It makes sense. The apple costs $2 right now per piece, so half-eaten apple, $1. It totally makes sense. Thank you, Sahil. All right, the next participant that we have would be Anita. Hi, Anita. Are you there? TikTok.
Yes, I'm there. You can
Hi. Okay, all right. So the word that you have will be an expired box of cereal. The expired box of cereal. The stage is yours.
The expired box of cereal, I will be the happiest person. Guess why? Because my daughters love cereal. And as a mother, I try my best to say, don't eat more than once a week, because cereal at the end of the day is sugar. But my daughters just cannot understand that logic. They just love cereal, and they will look at ways and means to get to at least eating cereals twice or thrice a week. So you know what? I secretly get into that space and hide those cereal boxes. And guess what, guys? I'm growing old too, right? So I forget where I hid them, and then they get expired. But well, that still makes me happy, because at the end of the day, at least it doesn't get into their stomach. I strongly believe that cereals are not that healthy for children, and hence I would do my best to ensure that those cereals expire as much as they can. I try not to buy them, and if I buy them, I try to control how much they can eat, as much as they can, or let them expire. Over to you.
Thank you, Anita. And now we have to come to the last speaker for today due to the lack of time. And we have Manush. Hi, Manush.
Hiya.
All right, so I'll be spinning the wheel, and good luck to you. Can we pin Manush, please? All right. An empty tissue box. Empty tissue box. The stage is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters, guest, and table topic master Wilson Paul. I was in Chile a couple of months back where I was traveling with one of my friends for a business adventure. And we were looking for tissues. You know what? We couldn't able to find out. But what we found out was a house full of boxes, which were looking like a tissue boxes kind of thing. And there was an old granny come out of the house and asking me, what exactly are you looking for? I said, we were looking for tissues because we have those rotten chips and also those apple, the half-beaten apple, which Salil sold to us. We bought a plenty of them and those molded breads, but we don't have any tissues. But this old granny said, you know what? We don't have those kind of tissues, but what I can help you is those boxes. Those boxes were pretty. They got having stars on there. They were glitteries and all those things, and those shinies and kind of pretty much same like it. But one of my friends said, what we can do is that we can take those boxes with us. Why don't we improve the kind of business of those boxes? But we were looking around and we couldn't figure out how to use that tissue boxes without tissues. Here comes. Since we often have a huge amount of molded breads and those half-beaten apples, why don't we pack it and do a product offering to those customers? You know what? People in Latin America, they were absolutely stunning to look forward for those boxes because those have glittery things and they are absolutely passionate about those kind of boxes. So we thought, let's do this one. We have a product offering. We do a personalized services on that one. We made tattoos of buoyancy on that one and Michael Pierce as well, which was absolutely stunning for them. And people were looking forward to that kind of boxes without tissues. So what we done is that we turn around the boxes into a much more beautiful boxes with glittery things, shinies, and those half-beaten apples and those molded bread in that. This was absolutely good, fantabulous business. We've done it, and we had made a huge amount of profit. With that, over to you, table topic master, Toastmaster Wilson.
Thank you, Manush. It's amazing that not just selling a empty box or tissue box, you're wanting to sell a moldy bread and also a half-eaten apple. So with that, I've come to the end of my session. And thank you so much for your participation and selling all the weird, quirky items. Initially, I was thinking it could be maybe too challenging or too weird, but I guess nothing is too difficult for fellow Toastmasters. With all this weird stuff, you can talk for 1 to 2 minutes. Amazing. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time for today, and I look forward to you joining our next table topic session. With that, I'll end my session today and pass it to our VPE, Chanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Wilson. Can we have the timers report, please?
Everyone is qualified.
Brilliant. And now, everyone, you can please vote for the best speaker by scanning that QR code or going to menti.com and entering the code. And now we will move on to the next part of our meeting.
Excuse me. My screen is not exactly saying this. It's saying this presentation is no longer active.
I see. Could you please take a photo and put it in our WhatsApp group? Someone will help you out. And for the rest, Cynthia, Ganu, are you able to see the screen?
The link doesn't work, I think, for most people. So we're gonna repost it.
You need to log in the code, guys.
Okay. Let me try it as well. I hope it is working for everyone now. All right. When you enter the code, it works. Right. Now we're going to move to the next part of the meeting, which is project evaluations. Now, project evaluators will be giving the evaluations of the speeches that you have heard just before the break. May I request the timer to demonstrate the timing sequence, please?
Okay. The individual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. At 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The speaker will have another 30 seconds to wrap up, after which the speaker will be disqualified. Back to you, TME.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cynthia. Our first evaluator has been on his Toastmasters journey for a year. He is constantly working on his holiday plans and looking forward to his next vacation to get over from the post-holiday blues. To evaluate Sumona Majumdar's speech, Fishing to Fit In, please welcome Toastmaster Chung Kiat Ling. Round of applause, everyone. Over to you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, Sumona shared with us a story. Sumona is from India. She shared her story of her growing up years and her desire to fit in to new environment through the language of Bengali. While her forte are Hindi and English, she also tried religious practice and with mixed success. Finally, she found a breakthrough from a cultivated love of eating fish. From this short speech, do we all learn more about Sumona? Yes, hence I'm happy to share she has met the project objective. Now, what I like about Sumona's speech, there are two things. First, her opening. She started by asking, what could be in common for all of us here? Fitting into your new school, your new workplace, or living in a new country. That immediately resonated with me and created curiosity among the audience to want to hear more. The second thing that I like about Sumona's speech, the speech delivery. Despite this being a virtual meeting, I could feel her passion through her voice, her facial expression, and gestures. Next, allow me to give 2 suggestions for improvement. Closing. If you can consider including a reflection, a summary, or a call for action to help the audience on how one might possibly navigate through a new environment to fit in. That will be a great key takeaway for all the audience listening. Second suggestion for improvement, to work on the time management, to better organize your speech, to squeeze in time for the closing. So to recap, I like your opening with questions and also your speech delivery. I could feel the passion. I think you need to work on the closing and through better time management and organization of your speech. Lastly, I super look forward to hearing your next speech, and good job, Sumona. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmasters of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster CK Ling. Very good suggestion indeed. We are now going to move on to the next evaluator. Patricia has benefited tremendously from receiving objective feedback from fellow Toastmasters. And she is now ready to give back. To evaluate Paddy Rangappa's speech, been there, bungled that. Let's welcome Toastmaster Patricia Kai. Over to you, Patricia.
Wow, Paddy, congratulations on a wonderful, successful icebreaker speech you had for us. I thought you did really, really well for your very first speech at Toastmasters. I felt 2 points that I want to comment on you and 2 points that I would like to give you to further level up your speech. Now, what have you done well for this speech? Firstly, I think you had an extremely, extremely strong delivery. Firstly, you started with a question and that immediately grabbed the audience's attention. What did you ask? Has anybody ever forgotten anything? Obviously, everybody has forgotten something in their lives before. That has been very relevant to all of us, if not most. I thought in terms of delivery, your eye contact was great. You were very comfortable with the audience. It's like all of us are like your friends. There was no sense of nervousness that I could see at all. Your articulation was very smooth, your body language was comfortable, and you managed to fit yourself into the screen nicely. That was very professionally done, so congratulations on that. The second thing I wanted to comment on is the content of your speech. Now, you asked me to watch out for the humor in your speech, and I did. So you wanted to know what the punches were, and there were so many that I don't think I can fit into this 2 minutes, but I just want to highlight a few. Right? You breaking the record or you striking that record of 8 times forgetting anniversary and birthdays in a span of just 14 years, I wouldn't give an A to my husband for doing that. And the fact that no place will come complaining to you if you forget a place, so which means that it's really important to remember people. And I liked that. I thought was really, really smart when you met an acquaintance and you didn't know how to find his name and actually asking for that person's boarding pass to try and have a sneak on his name. That was very clever. So these are just a few, and of course there were a lot more, and I know that the audience would have seen a lot more as well. Now, 2 points to improve on, I would say, to level up your speech would be, firstly, the drive home message. What is your message? It was a funny speech, definitely, and we were really engaged and were laughing throughout the speech. But what is the call to action? What can we learn from forgetting things that we can apply to our lives? I would be particularly interested in how you deal with that with your wife. Essentially, how could forgetting be good for your relationship with your wife is something that I'll be super duper curious to know. And the second thing is to work on your pauses. You had so many laughable moments. If you pause at the right time, you can allow the audience to digest that even more. There were a couple that had been missed in that, but then you could have grabbed that back if you had the pauses. So all in all, it was a fantastic icebreaker, strong delivery, great content and humorous. Just work on your drive home message as well as your pauses. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Patricia. Very, very good suggestions. We are now moving on to the next evaluation. Yuan Bin believes that his champion breakfast is feedback. Through Toastmasters and starting on his path of evaluation, Yuan Bin has grown not just personally at Toastmasters, but also professionally. To evaluate Regine Lai's speech, Depreciation, let us all welcome your Toastmaster Yuan Bin. Over to you.
Can you all hear me loud and clear? All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Listening to Regine's speech is like going back 5 years ago when I was taking my Econs 101 class. Regine reminded me of a respectable teacher I had who was very patient to explain to me the concept of economics. Greeting fellow Toastmasters, There are a few things that I love about Regine's speech that reminded me of my lecturer. First, she started off with an interesting fact about economics by giving the example of Charles and Keith. She went on by saying that Charles and Keith in Malaysia was considered an opening or entry luxury good where we Singaporeans don't even think about it. So opening with an interesting fact gets the audience attracted to the topic of depreciation. Number two, Regine speaks with a slower pace and it was easy to follow throughout her whole speech. So well done that. And thirdly, one of the most important points about teaching is to actually simplify complex subjects in simple terms. And she nailed it by explaining the depreciation of currencies using many simple examples throughout her whole speech. And lastly, she had a clear call to action at the end of her speech, encouraging all of us to really take the importance of learn financial literacy and recognize the importance of knowing about economics and financial literacy. So well done that. If I could perhaps offer two suggestions for Regine to consider to improve her speech to the next level. The first up would be the power of audience engagement. She started off with an interesting fact about Charles and Keith. How about considering engaging the audience in an online setting by asking the audience to type some comments? An example would be, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is the price of a Charles and Keith in Singapore? And the audience will perhaps say $600. And you could go on by engaging the audience furthermore by telling them, now, ladies and gentlemen, multiply $600 by 3 and you'll get 1,200 ringgit. Did you know that 1,200 ringgit in Malaysia is considered a luxury? Because the average salary of a Malaysian is 3,000 ringgit. And a Charles and Keith good to us is something that is probably a luxury good and we couldn't afford it, unlike you Singaporeans. So by adding some context and engaging an audience like this, you can add more humor and more context to your example, which will probably give the audience a better understanding of what the topic of depreciation is about. The second thing would be to actually add a call to action, to actually strengthen your call to action by adding a why. We know that financial literacy is important to us, but why should we engage and learn about financial literacy? Tell us why. Is it because of inflation? Is it because of depreciation? Let us know why we should learn about financial literacy. Overall, Regine, I love how you open up with an interesting fact in Charles and Keith. You had a slow pace, which makes your speech easy to follow, and you actually explained the topic of depreciation in simple terms and had a call to action at the end of the speech. Improve your speech by having more audience engagement and adding a why to your call to action. And I believe you will make...
Time is up.
Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Great. Yes, why is absolutely important. Thank you, Toastmaster Yuan Bin. We will now move on to the next evaluation. Our next evaluator works with systems and spreadsheets to crunch numbers in the banking industry. Getting people to see that numbers matter is a constant challenge for him. To evaluate Carrie Ho's speech on Guns and Roses, let's all welcome Toastmaster Kelvin Sim. Over to you, Kelvin.
Hi, Chanda. Many thanks. But before I begin, can I request the host to let me share screen on my PowerPoint slides? Thank you.
Sure.
Hello, Ganu. Oh. Okay, cool. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and friends. I'm really glad to be able to evaluate Carrie on her speech on Guns and Roses. I thought it was really a good speech with clear purpose, and she spoke with conviction and with preparation. She started off with the opening as well as the title, surprising us by telling us that what she's going to talk about is not music, but related to a character in the film industry. And she also surprises us next, telling us she's in awe with this actor, not by his acting in the films that he had acted in, but by his speeches, by the passion that he displayed, by the logic of persuasion that he displayed in his speeches. And that really inspired her. And her speech value lies in expressing the elements of a persuasive speech, having ethos, logos, and pathos, stirring up emotions with great logic. And she also ended with a call to action for us to get more involved in Toastmasters, in particular, attending the workshops by our esteemed distinguished Toastmaster, Ernest Chen. So kudos to Carrie for sharing all these with us. Now, I would like to suggest that Carrie maybe add some pictures, graphics to really let us relate to what she wants to tell us even better. Now, Charlton Heston's acted in many classic films like Ben-Hur, The Ten Commandments, etc. But you have a picture to inspire us to Google to find out more about him. I think that will engage us even more. And also, if she has a picture to show some of his speeches, that will also be great as well. I noticed that also, Carrie has read out quite a number of quotes. So I can't really remember or pinpoint which quotes, but I just want to point out one example of displaying some of the quotes here or over a Zoom audience. So I thought that will also be really helpful for most of us here, being able to catch some of the golden nuggets of Charlton Heston, and we can actually bring them back for our own review and then for our own learning. So that will be really helpful in this Zoom setting here. The third suggestion I'd like to suggest to Carrie is she could consider using sensationalization by telling her speech like it's a story. So one example, she can say, imagine an actor who is good in his craft, is also as good as a script writer, and also as good as giving speeches like Obama. And his speech gave me a bang, just like he talks about Guns and Roses, something like that. So in conclusion, I find that Carrie's speech has a clear purpose with conviction and preparation. So if she were to add in sensationalization tools like graphics, and to tell the speech like a story, she can stir our right brain even better. And your speech can hit us with a bang, like how Charlton Heston talks about guns. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin. Now we will go on to the next evaluation. Anjali, I'm sorry, I do not have your introduction. Would you like to introduce yourself? I'll read out the speech title, yeah? So let's welcome Anjali Grover to evaluate Michael Lee's speech, The Superpowers of an Introvert Communicator. Let's all welcome Anjali Grover, everyone. Over to you, Anjali.
I start with the introduction or just start with the evaluation straight away?
You could say a line about yourself, please. That would be great.
My line of introduction was actually that I'm still enjoying TMCS. And I think I continue to enjoy TMCS for another few years. It's such an enriching environment. So, okay, now over to the evaluation. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And hi, Michael. Michael, I really enjoyed the content of your speech. It was very informative. Now, we all know what an introvert is like. Otherwise, we used to think introvert is somebody who's boring and somebody to be left on their own devices. But now, after knowing their 5 superpowers, actually, we can spot an introvert and actually give them the importance that they deserve because they have the superpowers. So well done on that. Second, I would like to applaud you on your attempt to pepper some humor into your speech. I think there was a point when you said that introverts' natural habitat is a silent retreat. That was funny. Third, there was a point where I was getting worried that when are you going to quote the source of all this information? It was very clear that you were not the original source of whatever you were speaking. And I'm so glad that right in the end, you mentioned ChatGPT. So better late than never. Now, how can we make this speech even better? And I'm going to focus on two things. One, what was absent in your speech? And second, what should not be present in your speech? So what was absent in your speech? You were absent in your speech. There was a great opportunity for you to make the speech all about yourself, your story. You are an introvert, you said. You could have told us how you resonate with the 5 superpowers. How do you fare on these 5 superpowers? What has been your experience leveraging these superpowers, and what has been the response of people? So, for example, you could have started by saying, I'm an introvert, and you know how boring introvert people are. But hey, there is something I'm going to tell you that you don't know, my superpowers. And then you start talking about those 5 things, and then talk about what your experience has been. Maybe you've tried to be a good listener, thinking this is your strength in a meeting, and the boss thought that you don't know anything about the topic. So that didn't work. But you were being your authentic self, and that worked with your date, for example. So tell us your story as being an introvert rather than just listing out those superpowers. Now, related to the first thing, what should not be present in your speech is trying to preach and teach the audience without sharing your own personal experience, your struggles, your learnings. This diminishes the value of the content and of the message and also of the speaker. I mean, we're going to say, by what authority are you telling us do this and don't do this? So always when you are giving a message, it has to come from your personal experience. Overall, Michael, a very good attempt, and I look forward to seeing you shine on the stage with your superpowers in your next speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Toastmasters. Now for our next evaluation. Lawrence, returned Toastmasters, master with more than 20 years experience, still enjoying, learning, and improving. To evaluate Rajkiran Sharma's speech, let's all welcome Lawrence Lee. Over to you, Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. President, fellow Toastmaster, and guests, especially to Rajkiran. Was that an interesting speech? It is, because it's about unlocking our inner strength. We all have strength. Did she get our interest? Yes, she did. What I would say, she has no problem with her content. She got a substance, and she's very as well structured. First, she talked about her own challenge as a child. And she's in between desire to improve or fear, and you retreat. And she choose desire. And what did she do? Reading, writing, speaking. So this is very odd. My challenge to her, no doubt, this is an interesting topic, but how do you engage the audience? Let the audience get into your story. Because here, you talk about your childhood, Remember, all of us were children before. So we can use this as an anchor to tell them, remember all your childhood. What are the problems you face? Come along with me and bring that into your speech. How you had to conquer and very disciplined to read, write, and speak, and how much you want to read. So get the audience involved, engaged, embrace the audience. That's very important. Because we can give a speech, they are interested. How do you get the audience going along with you in your speech? And that will make it even more interesting and challenging. And very a call to action would be, we all have our inner strength. The challenge is for us to discover that for ourselves. So keep looking for your inner strength. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lawrence. Very, very good advice. Now to move on to the next evaluation. A Toastmaster for over 2 decades and still learning to hone his speaking and leadership skills and paying back to the Toastmaster community. For evaluating Jovin Go's speech, let's all welcome Mike Woon. Over to you, Mike.
Mr. Tess, am I audible and visible?
Yes, Toastmaster Mike.
I'm trying to look for my timer. Yep, all right, thank you. A fabulous Monday evening, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, and especially to Toastmasters Jolene. Now, Deanna Hardy once said, it only takes one voice at the right pitch to start an avalanche. Thank goodness, Jolene, your voice and the pitch were very pleasing to our ears. Now, please allow me to compliment what you did well and what I like about your speech. Jolene, you started by your speeches by telling us that you were not very fluent in English. And to most of us in Singapore, I think back in the old days, not every one of us spoke English at home. So I can relate to your statement. Thereafter, you plunge into your personal storyline from victim to victory. Now, Jolene, you were in control in this virtual meeting, and you spoke with clarity, commitment, and completely self-assured with the virtual audience. I like how you use your vocal varieties when you replied to your teacher with that soft-spoken tone as a child when your teacher was asking, why are you not playing? Now, that tone of your voice reflected the mood, which helped create much deeper impact. And then you engage us with a well-constructed personal stories. Finally, Jolene, you ended your sharing with a call to action, and this about how to transform and take charge of our lives today. Please accept my humble suggestion and recommendation, which I hope it can improve your further sharing in the near future. Now, this project, Jolene, requires you to have vocal varieties and gestures, which could have been improved. Example, when your teacher spoke to you, you could change the tonality to mimic that of a lady teacher. Also, you can shift your position. Since there were 2 characters involved when your teacher was speaking to you, and then you could have looked up to your teacher as if, you're replying back to her. Another opportunity for you to use your vocal varieties was when you retrench. I'm so upset. In summary, without those recommendations, Toastmaster Julian's strongest point were, throughout the sharing, your voice was pleasing to the ears, because I think by nature you're a soft-spoken person. Number two, you were completely self-assured and comfortable with the virtual audience. It could have improved by enhancing on your use of tonality, speed, and volume as a tool to spice up your speech. And you can also use the extra physical gestures as a tool to enhance your speech, especially when you were upset and retrenched. Nevertheless, thank you very much, Julian, for the personal stories, and wishing you all the best to your next project and future endeavors. Back to you, Toastmasters Chandra Gupta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mike Vaughan. Vocal variety really helps. Moving on to the next evaluation. As the master trainer at IMADE Singapore and a learner at heart, Daryl believes that the act of evaluating is not only the act of extracting value from the speaker's speech, but also a great learning opportunity for the evaluator himself to reflect upon the said practices. To evaluate Anita Nair's speech, let's all welcome Toastmaster Daryl Tan. Over to you, Daryl.
Don't you all wish that you were billionaires? That was the question that Anita started with. Marvelous Monday evening to fellow Toastmasters and friends. What went well in her speech, and how did she use this question to get the ball rolling? Well, first of all, the use of question here helps to prime our minds to the topic itself about being a billionaire, which we will find out later happens to turn out to become one of the biggest distraction and diversion on its own. Second, the use of this very important real estate on the screen, her facial expression. In fact, it was so clear and unobstructed, I could not help but notice that her complexion was extremely smooth. But that's beside the point. You see, the use of her facial expression here was able to help to reflect the emotions of her characters, which adds another layer to her speech and her delivery. So that helps to bring out the daughter's expression, especially on the part where she talked about how the daughter expression changed after she found out that her mother was a billionaire. So how can we help to transform this billion-dollar narrative that helps to speak to our minds into a trillion-dollar story that moves our hearts? Well, I have one very big suggestion that I hope that she's able to take up, and that is the fact that every story is a magic show on its own. Why do I say that? Because as a magician, you want to make the audience see what you want them to see. What do I mean by that? Two things to take note of. Number one, the wrap-up. Even though I love her wholesome message at the end, but as we ended the story, I couldn't help but feel an empty void inside. It felt as though we had left someone behind in the story. That's right, her daughter. As she started to speak to us, to preach the message of the day, she completely left the daughter behind. Was there an epiphany that the daughter felt at the end? Did she continue to ask for the $15? Tell us. Wrap up your story with a shiny pink ribbon. Second, use direct speech. You were using direct speech when you were trying to portray your daughter. What happened? What changed? All of a sudden, you mentioned that your daughter said, "Are my parents crazy?" Instead of saying that, you should have gone along with the direct speech and just mentioned, "Are you guys crazy?" Keep us in the magic, because we are in the magic of your story. We see your characters as how you see them. All in all, it was an entertaining speech. I enjoyed how you used the question to engage us. I love how you had used your facial expression to keep us in your story. And if you're able to wrap up nicely and to use direct speech, I'm sure the magic would remain with us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for a magical evaluation, Toastmaster Daryl. Can we have the timer's report, please? Do all the evaluators qualify?
Everyone is qualified.
Thank you. Can we have the voting QR code, please? All right, everyone. Let's vote for the best evaluator now. And now let's have the report by our counter, by our very own Toastmaster Lucinda Chong. Over to you, Lucinda.
Thanks, Master. Good evening. Thanks, Chandru. Hi, my name is Lucinda. So today, everybody did well. I'll talk about the presenter first. Everybody did quite well. Congratulations to all the speakers tonight. A few repetitive words from Sumona, like well, so, or you know. And for Carrie Ho, there's one For Michael Lee, there is a repetitive of R and and some repetitive words like as a speaker, we should, be introvert. As a speaker, be introvert, some repetitive sentences at the beginning of it. And moving to the evaluators, all are well. There's no repetitive words at all. So thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lucinda. Now, without further ado, I would like to say that you've all been very, very good audience, and it has been my pleasure being the Toastmaster of the evening for tonight. And now I would like to hand over to our club resident, Toastmaster Vlad Tapia.
Big thanks to Chander for a great job as a TME. The meeting was very smooth and positive. Everybody, please, could we give him a round of applause, please? You could go on and put a reaction there. Thank you. Now, I would like to take a moment just to turn on their cameras. We're going to take a group photo because after this, we're going to send the photos to everybody so then you can remember the evening. So if everybody could turn on their camera and we'll take a quick group photo. Lynn, let us know when you're ready and we'll do the thumbs up. So Lynn's our photographer. Believe it or not, we had someone taking photos of all of us during the meeting.
Okay, so now it's the first page.
Okay.
1, 2, can you? 1, 2, 3. The second page. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So that was very well run. This is the first online meeting that this team is running, and I feel it went very smoothly. So thank you. A round of applause to all the role holders and all the EXCO for running this. Now, before I go to the club announcements, I just want to invite one guest who is brave enough that wants to tell us about, give us their feedback on how they felt they went today. Is there one guest that wants to speak up?
I would love to, Vlad.
Sure, go ahead, Penny.
President Vlad. Well,
Yes.
I mean, incredibly organized. I have seen calamities with online, and it was very, very well coordinated, prepared, and the eagerness, even on virtual, to me, came across. I don't think I can sleep tonight. I'm so eager that I'm too excited. But well done, Mr. President and EXCO. You really did an amazingly good and strong stamp in your starting of chapter for the year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have to admit, the EXCO here, the BPEs, SAAs, TMEs, they spend long hours preparing for
Oh,
this.
I know.
I went on the
know.
calls. I was just impressed
know.
because In the
Yeah.
past, we haven't had this much preparation for online meetings, so it was
Yeah.
really,
You,
really
I
admirable effort
mean,
they put.
you can see it because it was executed so well.
Yeah, it definitely was. Very proud of them.
Well
Thank you,
done.
guys. Thank you,
A
Penny, for
hard
your
act,
feedback.
a hard act to follow, I would have thought,
Yeah,
for other clubs.
yes. So now we're
Thank
gonna
you.
go to, thank you so much. Now we're gonna go to the club announcements. So if Gano, you could share the slides and okay, so we'll go to the next one. One more. Okay, first, one more slide, please. First thing I need everybody to do is please scan this code. And Wilson, if you could put the link on the chat group, because what we really appreciate from you here is if you could give us a Google review. Hopefully it's 5 stars, but I don't want to push you into that. Why does this matter? Because most of the people that discover our club is through the Google reviews. They Google us and they find us. So this makes a big difference for us. If you enjoyed the meeting, if you got something out of it, please, I would like to ask you to give us a 5-star review. Makes a big difference for us. Wilson, do you share the link just to make sure before I go on? Yes. Okay. Next slide here. Next part here now is I would like you guys to follow us LinkedIn and Instagram. Now, these are two specific reasons. LinkedIn, it makes a big difference for us because the workshop speakers we're trying to get, we're going to have Aaron Beverly coming soon. I'm going to speak about that in a second. But the more followers we have on LinkedIn, it makes a big difference for the workshop speakers that we get. So if you want to see very good workshop speakers, like we're going to have world champion Aaron Beverly this week, please follow us on LinkedIn, because that is going to make a difference for us to get better speakers going forward. Instagram, we're going to start sharing a lot of the post member engagement. So if you are a member and if you want to follow us as a guest, there's going to be a lot of social things going on there. So I recommend you follow us there. Next, please. Okay, why to join TMCS? So here on online meeting, you get a taste of it. But what you don't see is in meetings, like we do it at a Sheraton. We have very engaging workshops, as you see Ron Kaufman there. You get to speak on stage. With a supportive community, everybody really helps each other out. We're making a family feel here. And we have quite a few social events, which you're going to see in our social calendar. Next slide, please. So if you're interested in joining TMCS, you scan this QR code, you fill out the form, and we're going to have our vice president of memberships get back to you. So, upcoming events. So what are the upcoming events? For July, we have now next week, this week we have Aaron Beverly, 2019 world champion for public speaking. He is going to do, and he's going to give us tips on how to, if you could put the next one there. Yeah, we put the Aaron Beverly. He is going to show us how to write a speech that is like a champion. So if you can scan that QR code there, you could register. It's a free event. It's going to be online. He is excited to see to present to the Singapore audience. It's going to be quite a big event. So I really recommend you seize this opportunity, because this is another level. We have a world champion presenting to you and speaking to you, and we're going to get a 30-minute Q&A session with him. So this is your chance to speak to him. Next workshop we have is IYOT Go. That'll be on the 29th at the Sheraton. You can scan there. It's Power Visual Thinking. So that'll be next week at the Sheraton. Then we have the next slide will be Human Library. We're going to have Irina, the name's spelled wrong there, sorry, but Ishvili. She's going to be our first Human Library. She is our Vice President of Education. She looks after mentorships. And she is a lovely woman, very funny, very good speaker, very good coach. That's going to be that there on Thursday. This is only for members, by the way, for your Human Library. Next one, please. We're going to have Entrepreneurship Club. That's also on the 25th. So we have quite a few events there. That's going to be run by Ernest Chan. And we're going to send more details on the chat groups for this. So that'll be on the 25th. If you're entrepreneurial, this is a place to learn a bit of how to communicate, and we're going to do different exercises there. Next one, please. Now next week, no, this is going to be week and a half. Angelique Grover, who was speaking evaluator today, is going to have a workshop. Now the title of it's going to be slightly different, but is Angelique here by any chance? If she's not, then that's fine. So we'll send more details about that.
I'm
Then
here.
oh, you're here. If you want to say a few words about it to the audience.
Yeah, so I think, understanding health is almost like going through a maze. Every now and then there are new fads that come up, kale is good, kale is very hard to digest, peanuts are good, but peanuts are inflammatory. We should do that much exercise, but not too much exercise, or we should do this in the morning and that in the night. All that stuff, I think, creates a lot of confusion and conflict in people's minds. So the intention of this workshop is to present holistic health in a very clear manner. There's been years and years of work that I've been doing on myself in this space. And so using all that, pouring all that information and learnings into this workshop so that you go out feeling extremely equipped to be able to handle the health in a holistic way better. So that's the intention.
Thank you, Anjali. Appreciate it. So guys, catch that. This could be at Corals next week. We're going to have the event being, we're going to start sharing it tomorrow so you can sign up. Now, the next slide is for August. We're going to have a meeting on the 5th. That's going to be National Day. So if you are attending, please wear red. We're going to make it all red event. It's going to be quite fun. Then on 12th, regular chapter meeting, another online meeting on the 19th. So for those people that want to do online meetings on the 19th, and then 26th workshop with Eugene Sea, which is called Super Brand Me. You're going to learn how to brand yourself, your own independent branding. He's going to teach us quite a few tricks. He wrote a book on it. He's a guru of it. So come out. Next, please. No, that's it. I think we are done there. So now let's go to the awards. Yes. Now, we're going to start with the icebreakers. Is everybody ready? So. And Patty. Congrats, Patty, on your icebreaker. So we're going to take a photo. Good job. Very good. You just joined, did the icebreaker already? That's the way to go. So congrats on that.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay. Next one. We have, drum roll please. Congratulations. Simona, if you could turn on your camera, we'll take a photo. Good job. Good speech. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you. Good job. And now.
Good job, everyone.
Now we're going to have the awards. So the first one's going to be Table Topics runner-up. Ready? Let's hear the drum roll. The runner-up is Table Topics. Congrats. If you're still on, we'll take a photo. Are you there? Bindu? No. Going once? Going twice? No, he has left the building. All right. And now the winner of Table Topics for today, July 22nd, is I think it's Elias, right? Is Elias here?
Hello.
Yes,
I'm here.
it's you, Elias. Congratulations. You won last time, I think, too, or you were number 2 last time.
Last
team nailed the win. Churchill won last time. You got second place. Now you won. So congrats. We'll do a photo. Good job. Thank you. And now we're going to go to runner-up evaluator. So runner-up for evaluator is it Leslie Lim?
No.
No. he wasn't today. I didn't hear him. So 1 second here. We need to update this for a second. SAA, I think it is Ganu or Sugo, if you could update for the best evaluator. So 1 second, everybody, please. We're gonna just update this here. Maybe you could put the previous slide in the meantime, ET. And then as you fix who is the winner. Exactly. So give us 1 second here. Now, I hope everybody got something from the meeting. Power of communication. You felt it. Hope the example I gave you at the beginning helped you kind of visualize, understand it, feel it a bit more. Because I felt the thinking I had is that emergency situations is really where you see the power of communication, especially when people have already rehearsed it. They keep the calm, they keep the composure, they say things in control. That is good communication there, and that leads really to dealing with their emergency situations. All right, all right, SAAs, is it up? Okay, I see one is up, almost done. I'm looking at it here from my other screen. You could follow. And we had 73 people, quite a good turnout today. As we wait here, I'll just speak a little bit, just chit chat. We were marketing this event across the world. We went to Ethiopia, we went to Norway, Canada. We went across 8 different Asian countries, India too. So we wanted to expand this. We want to get a global audience. And then our goal is also to eventually do workshops within these meetings. So we're going to have people start at the beginning there from around the world that are good workshop speakers present. So you have it right now. We don't have a name there. 1 second here.
Is that Lawrence?
Is it Lawrence? 1 second here. SAAs, if you could tell me the name of the evaluator. The slide is not.
Yeah, it is Lawrence. I remember his qualification. It is
Okay,
him.
Lawrence. Okay. So runner-up for best evaluators, Lawrence Lee. Congrats. Lawrence. We'll send you an updated. There we go. Now it's updated. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you. And now the winner for best evaluator. Drum roll, please. Good job. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate that you're here. I'm glad we got you.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it. Take care. And now we're going to go to runner-up best speaker. And the runner-up for best speaker tonight is... Yoin, are you still in the building? And if yes, perfect. We'll do a quick photo.
1, 2,
Congratulations.
3. Okay.
Thank you. Very good speech. Thank you, Yoin. And now, last but not least, the most valuable award for today is Best Speaker. Drum roll, please. Out of 8 people, you won Best Speaker in your first speech. Congrats. That's quite an achievement.
Thanks.
Now
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you, Lynn. Congrats to everybody. Thank you for attending tonight. And sorry we kept you a little bit later than we expected, but I hope you enjoyed it and you got something out of it. And see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, TMCS.
Thank you.
Excellent meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Gano,
everyone.
If you could put the closing music just to closing time.
Good
Well
job,
done, team.
everyone. Everyone spoke very well.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Well done, everyone.
Chander,
Bye-bye.
how do you find it?
Can we talk here?
If you want, or if you go somewhere else if you want. Or
No, it's fine. I mean, there were mistakes because my script had some issues, and the planes flying over. That
you had
was
the
something.
planes.
Especially the National Day coming. I mean, I couldn't stop. There's an airport nearby.
Oh, I
But
see.
I really love it. I mean, it is not easy. It is equally challenging. We must learn how to put up, really good online meetings.
Yeah, that is a challenge. Like if we compare this to our first one's December 18, and we had not done it for a year and a half, and that one had a lot of hiccups. It was quite a bit of things that we didn't think about that then we kind of perfected later on. And now with a new team, you had to reteach that